Okay, so we have the pronator quadratus, and that is right here, the insertion, right here where the blue is, and the origin on this side. This pronates the radial ulnar joint, so pronate, yeah. All right, and then we have the supinator, which is also, or which supinates, so like that. This is, the origin is on the inside, right here, and the insertion is on the outside of the radialis. Then we have the pronator teres, and that also pronates the radial ulnar joint. The insertion is up here. Can't really see it, but right there. And then the origin is right here, sorry. And then as well as right here. And the insertion is right there. Then we have the flexor digitorum profundus, and the origin is it's on the inside, can't really see it, right here, and the insertion is right, yeah, on the fingertips, sorry. This flexes the fingers 2 through 5, the interphalangeal, metacarpophalangeal, and distal interphalangeal. Then we have the flexor digitorum superficialis, which is right here, the origin, and then the insertion on the fingers as well. This also flexes the fingers 2 through 5, as well as the wrist, or the radial carpal. Then we have the flexor carpi ulnaris, which is where did we put that? Oh, no, we didn't. Over here. Here is the origin and the insertion right here. The flexor carpi ulnaris flexes and adducts the wrist. So flex and then adduct. I can't really do it on that. The palmaris longus, it flexes the wrist, the radiocarpal joint, and the origin is, can't really see it, but right there, and then the insertion is right there. I said flexes the wrist. The flexor carpi radialis origin can be seen right here, where the orange is, and then the insertion down here on the radiocarpal joint. This flexes and abducts the radiocarpal joint. And we have the adductor pollicis, and this adducts the carpal, metacarpal, and metacarpal phalangeal joints. And this is seen in the sort of in the hand / wrist area. The origin being where it's on this side, yeah, right here, and then the insertion on the thumb. Origin on fingers 2 and 3, and the insertion on finger 1. Then we have the flexor pollicis longus, and the origin is right here, where this purplish red is, and then the insertion right here on the thumb. This muscle flexes the thumb, the interphalangeal and metacarpal phalangeal, as well as the carpal metacarpal. The next one we have is the extensor pollicis brevis. This one is seen as the origin is right here, where this pink is. The insertion also on the thumb. This extends the interphalangeal, metacarpal phalangeal, and carpal metacarpal joints, as well as abducting the wrists. So the next one we have is the adductor pollicis longus. This abducts the thumb as well as extends the thumb, and it abducts the wrist. Can't really that, but the origin is right here. The abductor pollicis longus. Right. And then the insertion, is that covered? Yeah, I think it's covered. Yeah, abductor pollicis longus. I guess it's covered. Yeah. Next we have the extensor indicus, or indicis, like we said. Origin being
opposite arm.
Oh, so not that one. Origin being right here, and the insertion on the middle or the pointer finger. This extends and adducts the second finger, also known as the metacarpophalangeal joint. The extensor digitorum, origin being right, or that's on this arm, right here, and the insertion being on the fingers, as seen. This extends the second, or fingers 2, 3, 5, the metacarpophalangeal and interphalangeal joints. Extensor carpi ulnaris. This one extends and adducts the wrist. The extensor carpi ulnaris, the origin is on the right here. Origin being right here in this area, and then the insertion being on the outside of the pinky finger, or outside of the wrist on the pinky finger area, right here. Next we have the extensor carpi radialis brevis, which extends and abducts the wrist. The insertion can be seen on the inside of the elbow. Yeah, here it goes, right here, and then the insertion being in the carpal area. Next we have the extensor carpi radialis longus, which is kind of in the same area. It also extends and abducts the wrist. The insertion being around the same area, right here, and insertion being right there. This one, yeah, as I said, extends and abducts the wrist. Next we have the brachioradialis, which is seen right here, the origin being right here, and the insertion on the radialis. This flexes the humeral ulnar joint. Next we have the brachialis, which also flexes the humeral ulnar joint. And this is the insertion being, or the origin being right here on this side, and the insertion right here.